You're listening to Career Coaching with John, thoughtful approaches for lasting change. My name is John Filkowski, and welcome. Today's episode is the ultimate showdown. John versus John. The ambitious me versus the avoidant me. The one who builds things versus the one who pisses on the rug when he gets bored. Side note. When I was in high school, I had a friend whose dad was really into Sai Baba. Not in the casual, this guy's kind of interesting way. I mean full-on photos of the dude on every wall kind of way. Afro, flowing orange robe, serene smile. This Indian dude was just there, watching over us, benevolently. I think. Now, my friend's dad was great. Super warm, funny, generous. He had an old Porsche 944 with a custom plate. But he was deep into that boomer new age stuff. Meditation retreats, silent weekends, the whole works. He'd occasionally tell us stories, not about Sai Baba or his teachings, more teenage boy appropriate stuff like making eye contact in the hot tub. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if my friend's dad was in a cult, and frankly, I don't care. I kind of dug it. I liked the weirdness of it. Even as a teenager, I liked the idea of proudly stating your beliefs, reaching for something higher, belonging to something. To quote Fox Mulder, I want to believe. It's a worthy goal. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Sai Baba, so let me give you a bit of context, because this guy wasn't some family eccentric, he was a phenomenon. There were actually two Sai Babas. The first was Sai Baba of Sirdi, a 19th century spiritual figure in India known for healing the sick and preaching a kind of simple devotional spirituality that blurred the lines between Hindu and Muslim traditions. Well, that man died in 1918, but of course we know that's not the end of the story. In the 20th century, a young boy named Satya Sai Baba declared that he was the reincarnation of the original. Afro, orange robe, peaceful smile. That's the guy from my friend's house. Now let me tell you, this man had followers, millions of them, all over the world. Politicians, celebrities, everyday people. He made a fortune from this. And he built a lot more than ashrams with that money too. His foundation built schools, hospitals, water treatment plants, entire communities. Apparently, he could conjure up gold chains and watches from thin air, which I think is a pretty rad thing to be able to do. He claimed to be an avatar of God, and he sparked a wave of guru devotion that still echoes through the new wave traditions today. Now, whether or not you believe in miracles, and for the record, I do not have a watch from Sai Baba, what he represented was something a lot of people crave, a sense of direction, clarity, and peace. That feeling that someone else might know the way. But what if you're a stubborn, moody, pain in the ass like me? What do you do then? Well, I'm going to try something a little radical. I'm going to put the good John in front of the bad John, and I'm going to become my own Sai Baba. And I've enlisted a coach to help me get there. And yes, that is a ridiculous thing to say, but hey, this is a ridiculous life. Well, this is Career Coaching with John, episode 10, my own personal guru. I'm John, of course. Stay with us. Welcome back to Career Coaching with John. Well, what is a guru really? If you're going to become your own guru, you have to start with the obvious question. What does a guru actually do, and how do they do it? Well, the word guru has been flattened into a catch-all. We hear marketing guru, fitness guru, LinkedIn guru. It usually means a shameless self-promoter. But in its original sense, a guru was something more meaningful. A spiritual teacher, a guide. Someone who leads you out of the darkness, literally. That's the Sanskrit root. Gu, meaning darkness, and ru, the light that dispels it. A guru, therefore, isn't there to fix you. They're there to shine a light on a path. And I think that's the first thing that good John has to do. He has to stop fighting bad John and start guiding him. So if I want to be my own guru, and if I really want to, put the good John in front of the bad John, I have to start seeing myself a little more clearly. I've had those words, the good John in front of the bad John, written on my whiteboard for months. They've been sitting there like a dare, waiting for the right moment. This week, I hit a bit of a low. It was one of those slow burning, uncomfortable dips that forces you to realign your priorities. For me, that wasn't as a career coach. I think I'm just fine at that. But more as an entrepreneur. Someone trying to build a business out of nothing. What they don't teach you when you start a business from scratch is this. You spend very little of your time actually doing the thing you set out to do. Most of the time, you're just trying to make it viable. So, explain to me how that's any different from any other job. There's the work you need to do in order to do your job, and then there's a job. The job behind the job and the job. Just ask a teacher, and they will tell you all about it. Accepting and believing in that and believing in the process, well, that is how you build the business that is you. So yesterday I wrote this down. Career Coaching with John is intended to be a business where I help people achieve their goals. In doing so, I'm giving myself a career that is both intellectually and artistically stimulating. My family and the people I care about live all over the world, and I need the flexibility to be part of their lives. I want a business that doesn't confine me to one spot. So let's think about all the things I've been talking about since episode 1. Seeing myself as an entrepreneur, defining and articulating my vision, operating with intent, giving myself permission to succeed and permission to suck, the good John talking. Perhaps as an aside, you could take a moment to ask yourself, what do you do? Why do you do it? And are you happy with the statement? Are you meeting these goals? And what might need adjusting? Back to me. The nourishing parts of the business are what? The intellectual exercise that comes from coaching people and the artistic exercise that comes from making this podcast. The two should work together. The show inspiring potential clients to sign up, and the clients inspiring me to keep telling stories. It's a virtuous circle. The reality? Well, my coaching calendar isn't full. I'm not making the money I want to make. My computer is old and my microphone cheap, and I spend hours frustrating myself trying to get the audio right. It is very hard to get people to commit. I've done the math. It doesn't work the way I've been doing it. And that's where the bad John comes in. Remember, this guy isn't lazy, and he's not checked out, and he's not flaky, and he's not even disorganized. He is convinced there are more important things to do. Now, instead of me talking at you, I've invited my fellow career coach, Abdelaziz Barassi, to join us on the show and discuss this very problem. Abdelaziz works with French-speaking engineers and is based in New Caledonia, an archipelago off the coast of Australia, part of overseas France. Now, he does things a little bit differently than I do, so let's see how he might approach the bad John. But first, let's get to know him. Welcome to Career Coaching with John.
Hello, John. Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me in your podcast. I'm very grateful for that. Let me introduce myself. My name is, as you said, Abdelaziz Bourassi. I've spent the last 10 years working as an engineer in logistics and procurement across the mining and oil and gas industries. From several countries in Africa and then in France till New Caledonia, as you said. Today, I'm also a headhunter and a career coach investment for French-speaking engineer, but sometimes also for English one. I help junior and mid-level engineers break out of stagnation, rebuild their confidence and increase their income so that they can finally build their a life of freedom and purpose, not just for surviving,
Yeah. How did you know you wanted to become a career coach or help others with their career?
That was a long story. I knew I became a coach because I was my first client. At the beginning of my career, I worked very hard. I was motivated with a big potential, I guess, but I wasn't fulfilled. Mm-hmm. Every year I asked for a raise, every year, nothing changed, nothing happened.
That
And
sounds familiar.
yeah, yeah. I thought that hard work was enough, but no one around me tell me how to do. Some had resigned to their fate, and others were just surviving, not living. So at that time, let's say it was 10 years ago, there was no mentor, no roadmap, just some advice from my colleague, and was just Abdelaziz, wait, one day it will happen, you will get your raise.
Hmm.
So that day never came until I created it myself. And now I'm happy with the move I did 10 years ago. And that's why today I'm helping others to do the same.
It's you basically, I mean, other than the engineer part, you basically described my last 10 years. It was gradually
Oh,
finding myself at that point of saying, I don't want to do it like this anymore. I'm not making the money I wanted to do. I'm not doing the work I want to do. I'm getting more and more tired, and I don't see a clear path for
yeah.
myself anymore. What does the pessimistic voice in your head sound like? What is it? Is there already a moment that you doubt yourself, you doubt your abilities to be successful, and how do you overcome that?
What can I sometimes before I doubt for sure, my head tell me, okay, Abdelaziz, you are not ready, or you don't know enough, or what is your fail. This is probably the perfectionism. I don't know you in North America, but in Europe and also in France, at school they teach us to have a good answer, but they do not teach us to try and fail till you have success. So have I had doubt myself sometimes, especially when I made the shift into coaching. So help me, it was small wins, helping other one person then another, and the confidence grow with action.
Yeah.
So this is the way moving from engineering career to coaching career. This is not easy because the first direction I had after school was engineer, and now I decided to become a coach. So that is my path.
So when someone approaches you for help, um, or maybe they're just frustrated. They're frustrated with what's happening in their careers. They're getting to that stage of, this. I'm getting older now. I'm at my mid part of my career. I want to move forward. How do you know someone's actually ready for change, or how do you get yourself ready for change?
Uh, that is a really good question. Um, to answer to the question, I will give you an example. During my career, after finding the way that I did to accelerate my career and getting good salary raise and so on, and investing so that I become free. During this career, I met several engineers like me at the beginning of my career. So sometimes we discuss together at lunchtime, coffee time, and so on. And they ask me, "Oh, Abdelaziz, how you did that? Can you help me to do that?" And so on. And sometimes I give them some tricks, some way I try to guide them. But I found out during my career that those people didn't make the move. And why
Yeah.
they did not make the move? I realized that the painful was not higher than the taking risk, meaning that they still have, let's say, a painful which is lower than the risk to take for moving. Let me give another example. When I started my career, year after year, I was asking for a raise, and every time they told me, Abdelaziz, we don't have the budget. Abdelaziz, this is a crisis. Abdelaziz, that and that. So within 4 or 5 years, the painful was more higher than the risk to move. So that's how I can feel that someone is ready to move. When enough is enough, and I cannot do, I don't have to stay at the position I'm today. I have to change. And when it's time, it's time. So the people at that time, whatever happens, they decide to move because the painful is very high, very more higher than the risk taken by making something else or having a coach or mentor to guide them till their success.
Yeah.
So that is to answer your question, the idea.
Yeah, I think about the comfort zone, and staying in the comfort zone isn't necessarily comfortable. It's just familiar. You know, that pain that you've been living with for all this time, or that frustration you're living with all this time, taking the risk and trying something different. You know, I can think of where I would still be if I never did any of that. And no, you would be making nothing. It's true. So when you're working with a client, how do you get started on the process with them?
Yeah. First of all, I clearly have one or two calls previous to work together to clearly understand what are their needs, what are their success, what are painful, and so on, what are their goals. And after that, if I see I can help them and they have, let's say, high probability to success, then I propose them to coach them for several weeks. The plan, there is different steps of my coaching. The first step is establishment of a strategic career planning, customizing to customize to their goal. Then after that, there is financial mapping to align the money with freedom because it is important. Mm-hmm. Also, the third step is to the mindset coaching, which is very important. Dissolve all the fear and build belief, because with fear we cannot do most of the case nothing. And at the end, there is a work-life balance, because you should feel good for sure in your life and in your professional career. And before the first thing to do, that are the main steps of the coaching. But for sure, the foundation of all that is knowing clearly what is your actual situation, meaning what is your actual pain, what is your actual position, and what is your objective, what is your vision. Because we cannot go somewhere without knowing what is our actual position and where we want to go. It's like a GPS. If you don't accept to put the actual address into the GPS and the final address, guess what happened? You will go nowhere. Yeah. So that is a different step of my coaching method.
Okay. Well, we're going to learn a little bit more after the break, but for now, let's keep it there. And let's take a break. All right, that was Retro Synth from Pittsburgh-based musician Halinza. That track was from his 2022 album Power Pop. This man has an extensive collection of music on Free Music Archive. He also has a Patreon page if you want to help keep those jams going. I will link that in the show notes. You know, I'm really glad I found this. And next time I'm in the City of Champions, maybe I'll look him up, pick his brain. I kind of want to know how this works. Anyway, merci beaucoup to Halizna, and welcome back to Queer Coaching with John. My name is John, and we are here with Coach Abdelaziz. I've asked him to do some strategy and coaching with me around my own business and overcoming my own self-doubts. So we talked about getting started. We talked about, establishing a vision. How would we get started with somebody like me who's started on their business but is starting to lose enthusiasm for it or finding it harder and harder to stay motivated? How would you approach this mindset?
Is because of something. Probably there is something in the way you are doing things that is not clearly aligned with what you really want to do. Probably it could be the tools, it could be something in your life that you are stuck with. It could be a person who you are speaking to. It could be many things. So to answer to your question, there is several things, and most of the case, the idea of when I discuss with people is to find out where is this misalignment. So I will ask you a question. Can you tell me why you are not enthusiastic, or can you tell me what is your environment? Explain me your daily routine and so on, and then I will ask you more and more questions to find out where is this misalignment.
Yeah. Well, I spend the most of my time working on this show and working on my other content. I don't do a whole lot of coaching specifically. I have a handful of clients and we work sporadically, but growing the business is probably the greatest challenge. You know, the thing that I think about is that I don't actually do all that much coaching. And in fact, a lot of it is trying to get my technology to work, trying to get write scripts for the podcast. It's about finding clients. It's about answering emails. It's about all the work that I have to do. The frustration I feel so often is someone has asked for something and then you give it to them, but then they don't do anything with it. And I don't mean like we've started coaching necessarily. They say, I'm looking for help. Can you help me? Absolutely, I can help you. And then silence. And so for me, that's incredibly demoralizing because I put my work into it. I get myself motivated, excited, and then there's just nothing. And or people cancel. And so it's the reminding myself or staying on to that point of, I know there is work to do in order to do this. In order to do my job, I have to do more work. I think that's certainly my biggest challenge.
Yeah. So you mean that you are you if I understand well, tell me if I'm wrong or not. You probably spent more time on all technology and making information and so on than coaching. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So the way I can answer to this question is probably to understand how you can make it easier, maybe less technology thing, setting, trying to make a set, website and so on, and more contact with people, even it's because your main let's say potential is in your career experience and coaching. So probably you should more maybe spend time discussing with people, interactive. That is like something like podcast and your audience. This is good, but I guess that probably you should give to someone else to help you for all this side of technological thing, setting of material and so on, so that you will be focused only on coaching and so on. But I can understand that it is sometimes a challenge.
So you're staying aligned with the things that I don't know how would we phrase this, because I'm thinking about when I do think there's a measure of you have to learn how to do new things. I mean, that's what this is about, is learning new things, learning new skills, taking myself out of my comfort zone. However, there is a question of staying organized and staying focused as well. Is that what you mean? Like staying focused on the vision and what that vision might be?
Yeah. This is it. I can give you an example. For example, you asked me before if I doubt on myself and so on. When I say I doubt, sometimes I doubt and so on, is because I know exactly what I want to do, but I did not know how to do it. So the best way, there is two way. Either I did it myself, all the technical side and so on, making the website, making video and so on myself and so on. But it's not my my good knowledge. My knowledge, my is a coaching is how to make people have accelerate their career and freedom. This is the core of what is in gold on me that I can give to people. But it's not making website, making video and so on. My main objective is to help people. Yeah. So there is two ways to do it. Either I do it myself, or I ask someone to do it for me. But for asking someone to do it for me, the first thing we have the mindset to do it ourselves, because we think that okay, I will do it myself, it will cost nothing and so on. But most of the case, if we do it ourselves, we become stuck because beginning to do what is passionate for us. So before coming, if I do it, if I try to do it myself, I will be stuck before beginning to start coaching, and probably I will never coach people because I will be stuck every day. I'm not aligned. But in my example, I decided to ask people to help me. I have a team that make all those stuff ready for me, and then focus on people coaching. And that's why I prefer having, let's say, a complementary job that is aligned with my vision, like headhunter, recruiter for companies that I know that will have great value for my coachee, than trying to make website myself, trying to catch people and to ask them or to make some video or some, all these things.
Yeah.
And that's the way I'm thinking about maybe we have to think about do it yourself and done it for you. And sometimes our head tell us every time you have to make saving. It's okay to make saving if it is simple and if it is on your competence and easy to do for you and very fast implementation and so on. Do it yourself for sure. But if you think there is many things to do, or there is difficult or taking a lot of time, or it will become very stuck to manage that with the coaching, then probably you have to make a decision. Either you you focus on only the coaching, or be okay by making all this technical side and so on, and taking a lot of time than coaching.
I will say this, making my own website was probably the biggest mistake I've made so far. Yeah, it was a terrible idea. And the frustration that I felt around that. Now, having said that, I think it did set me up a certain way because it helped me align my thoughts. But of all the things I could have been spending my early days on, if I had just paid somebody else to do that, it would have put me so much further ahead. And if I'm not enjoying it, and if it doesn't give me the value that I need, one thing about the difference between, say, the website and the podcast, everything about this show is the ability to be able to talk to myself in a way, to be able to put this radio version of John, which is an uplifting, optimistic guy, in front of the normal John, which isn't nearly this nice. And I get to hear my own voice say these things. And then when I stop recording, I go, okay, yeah, it actually is possible. It's a very interesting thing, but to cut out a lot of the things, that just take up my time and make me miserable. And if I could find somebody else to do it, who will do it at a fraction of the time, it's really not that expensive. It's what a difference it makes in terms of your confidence to be able to say, this is my vision. This is what I believe in. Can you help me with this?
Whatever your path, just know this, your next level is possible. You just don't have to do it alone. As I said, you have just to focus on your vision and objectives.
Didn't go exactly how I wanted it to go, and I'm sorry we got off the guru topic, even if it was a bit stupid. But it's not to say it was wrong. In fact, I think that he said exactly the thing that I needed to hear. We talk a lot about comfort zones, how we cling to what's familiar. We build our routines, we set boundaries, we stick to what we think we can handle. We say we want to be ready, but ready for what exactly? And how will we even know when we are there? Before I hit record today, I found myself asking, what do I actually do? How do I do it? And am I proud of the results? Does the pain of pushing forward outweigh the risk of staying still? When Abdelaziz was speaking, a question kept running through my mind. Is what I'm doing aligned with my vision, or is what I am doing shaping my vision? That's what I wanted to talk to him for. On paper, we're wildly different. We come from different countries. We speak different languages, and we took very different paths into this work. And yet, I would have said the exact same thing he did. Decide what you want and then ask for it. That's simple enough, right? So knowing that, why am I still running parts of my business from inside my comfort zone? Well, let's be honest. I am terrible at asking for help. I hesitate when it's time to decide. I second guess myself into a corner. So what does the good John have to say to the bad John? Well, first of all, let's acknowledge the bad John isn't an idiot. He knew something wasn't right. He couldn't put his finger on it, but then what? Nothing? That's not good enough. A good coach teaches you to keep learning and training, to try new things, to practice the things you aren't good at so that you can be aligned with your goals. So go, give yourself permission to suck, to try, to risk looking like a beginner again. The comfort zone isn't comfortable. Maybe growth starts by admitting we're not ready, but we're willing to try. Well, thanks for listening to Career Coaching with John, episode 10, my own personal guru. I don't know why this one's hitting me so hard. I'm sorry, guys. Special thanks to Coach Abdelaziz Barassi for his insights. He left a couple presents for us. He has a Steps to Transition to a Fulfilling Career PDF for you to enjoy. And if there are any engineers out there, he is offering a free strategy call to the first 5 listeners who sign up. I'll put a link to both in the show notes and on my website. I also want to thank Halizna for his music. We're going to let him play us out today with a tune called Night Driving from his album Lo-Fi and Chill. As Sai Baba once said, I am formless and everywhere. I don't know what that means. I hope you can tell me. We'll think it through and talk about it next time. Above all, there is a good version of us just waiting to lead. So let's not forget they exist. If you know anyone who needs to hear this message, please share it, comment, and find me at johnfilkowski.com. This is Career Coaching with John. Now go enjoy your day at work.